What is up, everybody? Back here with another episode of the One Piece vlog, and today we are reviewing the Fishman Island arc, the first arc post-time skip in One Piece. Let's get into it. I have been waiting so long to get to post-time skip One Piece to see what it's like when they all know hockey and things like that, and we're finally here with the Fishman Island arc, and really I feel like this is the arc where it almost feels like it's where Oda and One Piece is growing up. Not only because the characters are older, but also the content matter of Fishman Island. I really enjoyed this arc, even though it's a little bit smaller. Feels more on like a Skypiea thriller bark kind of a scale versus like the big Water 7 saga, Alabasta saga, or Marineford. But I really enjoyed Fishman Island, and it was really cool to see, when the crew got back together, everyone sending them off. That was an awesome moment at Sabaody Archipelago. And then when they finally get down, I really liked all of the panels when they're underwater, just kind of this like creepy vibe to it. Really, really enjoyed that aspect of the beginning of Fishman Island. But then as you start to get there, you start to unravel how racist this world is. And it really feels like I think it's a great way to build on Arlong Park, which is still one of the best arcs in all of One Piece, and it happens so early on. But you get kind of that build up with Arlong, and I like everything they do with Arlong and Jinbei's backstory, and how you kind of find out why Arlong was the way he was. But you also see the way how Jinbei has become kind of such this kind of awesome figure to the people of Fishman Island, and everyone loves Big Boss Jinbei. And really the best part about the backstory, and kind of the reason I like this arc so much, and it really got me to think in a way that I hadn't really. And it really starts with like the Queen's backstory and how she is trying to get change in the world for the fishmen by doing it in a peaceful way, and that's contrasted by the pirate who's doing it in a more violent way, freeing slaves. And what's really interesting about these two conflicting ideologies is that they both end the same way. They both get killed. And one of them gets killed by a human, and one of them gets killed by a fishman. The Queen does, even though she's being peaceful. She's not inflicting any harm on people, and yet Jones kills her for really no reason except the fact that he thinks that we should be that fishmen, not we, fishmen, should be disrespecting humans. But the fact that they both say, we are allowed to hate. We have been scorned by humans our entire lives, but the kids, the children, which is kind of corny in a way, but they haven't been yet. And I never really thought about it in that way, where it's okay to not like or even hate the people that oppress you. Of course, it makes sense. And no one should ask you to do anything else but that. But if there is going to be change, a potential way to do that is to hide your hate, not get rid of it, but hide it, and show the kids acceptance. And I just never read a story that kind of handled racism in the way that Fishman Island did. And it just got me to really think about how current social movements are moving and what my role is in those type of movements as a white male. And to just kind of listen to the people who have been scorned by oppression, because I have never had to deal with that, really. And so that was a really unique perspective on One Piece, and I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it, and it really feels like Oda is growing up. It feels like, along with the characters, more of the themes, more of the ideas are getting fleshed out and getting deeper and deeper, and that's exactly one of them in Fishman Island. And to go along with that, all of the action was really great. I think as an introduction, like the entire time you know that Luffy and Zoro and Sanji and really the whole crew are just stronger than everybody there. And even though Jones can use haki, it doesn't matter because Luffy's haki is infinitely stronger at this point, and his haki is still like half of what Shanks's is, which is insane. But I think it was a great build up to focusing on more of a interesting idea like that, and how it explores racism and social movements, and how different people should act, and how you should forgive people or not forgive people, and things of that nature. It really, this arc isn't focused on Luffy overcoming insane heights. Luffy just came from his lowest point ever after, defeating, kind of at his highest point, defeating Rob Lucci and then kind of beating up Moria. But that's not what the arc is focused on, and I think it's good because it's cool to see them be top dogs again after so long of seeing, over the last saga, to see the Straw Hats just get beat up, basically, to see them come into a new place and just absolutely be stronger than everybody, not only allows Oda to focus on this different kind of thematic element that we haven't really seen, but then it also just allows for these really cool moments where everyone's showing off their new weapons and everything like that. So yeah, Fishman Island was absolutely incredible. I'm actually kind of shocked at how much I enjoyed this kind of a quick arc, and I don't really have that much more to say about it. It's humorous and it hits all of the beats. It's not this super long saga, but it also has a lot of thematic depth to it that I just wasn't expecting, and I think is really the biggest draw of this arc in the hierarchy of One Piece. Obviously, if you've read this far, you probably like One Piece quite a bit. But I think when you're talking about it in context of other arcs, it just feels like it's trying to explore things that other arcs haven't before. And so I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. The humor is back. It was so good to see the Straw Hats together. I can't emphasize that enough, and I can't imagine reading weekly. Like, reading the Summit War arc, I was able to enjoy all of it, and I was able to go through it pretty quickly. But if I was reading that weekly, it would be so long and so agonizing to not have all of them be together. Because even for me now, it's so great to see them back together. So if I was reading it weekly, it'd be even worse. So I can't even imagine what that would be like. And yeah, I really just think this arc was kind of a return to form with the Straw Hats coming back together. Obviously, I think the last arc was insane. I'd probably give it about an 8.5 out of 10, borderline 9, to be honest. It doesn't have the grand scale that the Summit War had, or even something like Water 7, but it is really, really thought-provoking and just thoughtful by Oda, and it really tackled kind of racism in a way that I had never seen before in a story like this, and in a story that is supposed to be so lighthearted. Having, interesting ideas like that is what makes, I think, reading this series one of the reasons it makes this series so worthwhile to read. And really quickly talking about the end, right when with everything with Big Mom, that was absolutely incredible. And I feel like Oda really likes to do this. Like, he likes to take, a little detour with something that doesn't feel like has big implications on the world. The perfect example of that is at the beginning of the Water 7 saga with the Long Island, and when that whole arc is like really throwaway, and then all of a sudden Aokiji just shows up, and you're like, what is going on here? And it really kind of leapfrogs you forward. And that's exactly what happened here with Big Mom just calling up and Luffy declaring that this is his island. And I just talked about this in my last episode, how it feels like Luffy can start to make progress towards maybe being like an emperor, or just being kind of considered in that same realm. And it starts here when he stands up to Big Mom and he says, hey, I'm going to take this island for myself. I don't care who you are. And it's also hilarious when everyone else finds out and they're just shook. They're like, why would you ever pick a fight with Big Mom right now? Like, we don't stand a chance against one of the emperors. And it's cool because like Luffy like kind of has like one of the emperors in his corner with Shanks, obviously. So I'm really excited to get into, I think, Punk Hazard. I just started reading Punk Hazard really excited to see kind of what happens next, because now it's like, okay, we're in the new world. Like you have this isolated arc where everyone's stronger, but they're technically like not really in the new world yet. So when they finally reach that moment, it was really, really cool to see. It's been a long time coming. So I'm really, as we're getting forward, I have no idea where the story is going to go next. Like it could go an infinite number of ways. I'm excited to like get more reveals on who the warlords are, who obviously Blackbeard is the emperor now, and you have the fight. You're starting to see, okay, I know who is the leader of the Navy, and like how Aokiji left, which was really interesting. I didn't think he would leave the Navy at all. So I'm curious to see like what is he gonna do. Like there's so many different like players in this series who have an insane amount of strength, who are just kind of like hanging out doing their own thing. So I think this arc was really thought-provoking. I really enjoyed Fishman Island. I hope Jinbei comes and joins the crew soon, so I'm excited to see kind of what happens next in One Piece. And yeah, I think 8.5, it could go up or down. I kind of view it it's just another great arc. It has its own strengths with the thematic elements and how it tackles racism. Obviously, it's not as focused on the emotional outbursts of the crew or these over elaborate fights, because you kind of know Luffy's the strongest when he gets there. But he was super good. I can't wait to read more of the time skip. So that's kind of it for this video. Check me out. One Piece vlog out every single Thursday. More One Piece discussions. Let me know if you want to who you might want as a guest. I can always reach out to them. Follow me on Twitter @ArtEssays, and I'll see you guys in the next one.